Now, what is it that separates those two extremes so widely? Well, there are two main differences. First of all, there is the difference of intention. A variety show aims to please and nothing more, whereas an opera has an artistic intention, which is to enrich and ennoble the audience by inducing lofty emotions in them. But then there's a difference of kind. A variety show is only a packaged collection of songs and dances, skits and sketches, acrobatic turns, dog acts, and whatnot, all put together with no particular unifying thread but entertainment itself. Whereas an opera has a story to tell, a plot, and it aims to further that plot through the use of music. Now, all those other forms we saw vacillate between the two poles of variety and opera. And whether they belong to the variety show or to opera, they have one thing in common, which is the way they use their musical elements. If a show uses its musical elements for diversion only, then it belongs closer to the variety pole of things. And if it uses those musical elements to further its plot, it swings over toward the opera pole of things. Now, just how does a plot get furthered by music? Well, there are a number of ways. There's ballet, underscoring, choral devices, and so on. But certainly the most common technique for telling your story musically is the device known as recitativo, or recitativo, or however you want to pronounce it, a word which you certainly know as somehow connected with opera, but perhaps are a bit foggy about. What is this recitative, anyway? Well, let's suppose that I'm in a musical show whose plot calls upon me to inform my wife that chicken has gone up 3 cents a pound. Now, in an ordinary show, I would simply say to her, "Dear, chicken is up 3 cents a pound," and then my wife would probably burst forth into a lament about the high cost of living. But in an opera, I would sing my line, and so I would have to resort to recitative, let's say in the style of Mozart, like this. "Susanna, I have something terrible to tell you. I've just been talking to the butcher, and he tells me that the price of chicken has gone up 3 cents a pound. Please don't be too depressed, dear." Now, that's not terribly expressive. It's rather close to plain speech, except for an intermittent piano chord, and it's not particularly descriptive of my feelings about chicken. But of course, I could get more dramatic in the style of Verdi, something like this. Gilda, il prezzo di pollo è montato, 3 soldi per gravo. Now, if Wagner had been concerned with the high price of chicken, he might have put it this way. But no matter how expressive I get, the function of my recitative is only to set up the situation for my wife's song. In other words, to further the plot through music. Well, by this time, you're probably wondering what all this has to do with musical comedy. After all, these recitatives I've been singing are all pretty fancy and operatic.